I'm about to release my inner alpha wolf. That's what Wolfman didn't do. Wolfman, directed by Leigh Whannell, stars Julia Garner, also stars Leigh Whannell, and Christopher Abbott. This movie is potential that is wasted. When you read the synopsis on IMDb, it's a great idea. It just was flopping every single second, and you're just wondering what happened. I want to preface that this is not a spoiler-free review. I'm going to be a little passionate today because I hate wasted potential movies, and don't mind me getting a little pissed. Thank you. I'm going to start off with the bad because this movie was actually awful. I mentioned that there was a lot of wasted potential. The first 10 minutes of this movie was amazing, but the rest of the movie was not. By the way, it was obnoxiously dark. Why was this movie dark at all times? You're telling me that this werewolf virus, yes, they specify virus, all of a sudden only happens at night. I guarantee you, if we gave this the Midsommar effect, not like an art house film, but make it bright and airy, super colorful, and set it in the daytime, woo! You got yourself a werewolf movie, because that's kind of what American Werewolf in London is. Nope. It's not horror without being absolutely gray, crushing the blacks, aka if you don't know what crushing the blacks are, it just means you're oversaturating the color black on your film. And then it's just a bunch of blues and greens and grays. Woo! What a horror film of all time. Not that every single horror film since the dawn of man has made. Leigh Whannell. Mr. Whannell. What were you doing? I'm going to say this as kindly as possible. Do not direct horror. It's not your kind of movie. Also, don't direct drama. Don't direct romance. It's not your kind of movie. Maybe take a step into sci-fi. That might be your realm. Because this movie was incredibly shallow. Really, really shallow. Blumhouse was marketing this movie as something that might be a little higher quality, something like the level of The Invisible Man with Blumhouse, but it just fails on every mark. The body horror of this movie is so short. It's so short. Like the scenes that we get to see, they're cool. It's all practical, which is really nice, but there's just not enough. I came out of that movie, I'm like, where's the gore? Where's the gore? It's like seeing a zombie movie and nobody gets bitten because they're all surviving. That's what this movie feels like. Also, Wolfman doesn't even look like a wolfman. He looks like a man. No, he just looks like a Neanderthal. He looks like a caveman. That's what I'm trying to say. He looks like a caveman. And it just is like, it's so stupid. It's so mind-boggling stupid. Also, the characters are so freaking dumb. They're so dumb. I can't begin to fathom how stupid they are. I've seen a lot of scary movies. I've seen a lot of bad scary movies. I played games. I read books that are scary. I've seen all the bad. Okay, you guys are gonna lose brain cells hearing this. They find a guy. He has a gun. They're uncomfortable. So whatever. But he's like giving exposition on this land. And it's just like, oh my gosh, can we shut up? It's in the title of the movie. It is called Wolfman. We know what the threat is. I know I'm watching Wolfman. I know it's a werewolf. I know you have to be attacked by a werewolf to transform into a werewolf. Duh. So they get into the truck. They see Wolfman. They land into a tree. And oh my gosh, everything's happening. And then the character that they picked up, oh, he dies by Wolfman. It was shown in the trailer, by the way. But he dies by Wolfman. Oh, right. So his purpose is now completely done, and now it's up to them to figure it out. So now he gets scratched. Christopher Abbott, the father, gets scratched by Wolfman. We all see it in the trailer, right? So they run to the house, and then his transformation begins. And this is where the movie really slows down. Because a lot of people say the first 10 minutes of the movie is so good, and then once they get to the house, it's so slow. The problem is the body horror was completely forgotten about. This movie wasn't about jump scares. Like, yeah, there's a couple jump scares to like jolt you out of the seat, get you excited again. The body horror is not there. And it is slow at the start, which is fine. It's fine. Okay, I can deal with slow at the start. But once you start like getting into it, It's not scary. It just isn't. It's a lot of like, this is how he looks. Like, and his like teeth is hanging out. Like, it's so stupid. He looks like an orc, bro. I feel like I'm watching a terrible version of Lord of the Rings. And it's like one orc chief and his wife, and then his wife finds out that he had an affair. Like, it feels awkward. It just feels awkward. This movie doesn't know how to stop being awkward. It felt like Joker 2, fully day, whatever that movie's called. Joker 2, okay? Awkward. The dialogue in this movie was driving me up a wall. And I felt like Lay, I'm gonna throw shade at you, Lay, Winnell, Wannell, whatever you want to be called. I felt like you were so controlling on set that they had to talk like this, by the way. My dad is transforming. I don't know what to do. I see him sweating profusely and he's becoming animalistic. What do we do? Do we leave the house? Like, oh my gosh. Like, I know there's another wolf man outside, but I don't think we should take that chance. And they made it more monotone. More monotone. The colors were monotone. The acting was monotone. The direction was monotone. I'll get into the good stuff in a moment because there was a few good things. And also the whole plot line with the dad. Everyone sees that coming a mile away, bro. How long have werewolf movies been coming out? It's been a while. So when you hit up on that trope, honestly, it's a lot of tropes in a lot of different genres. But when you hit that one specifically, you kind of lose my respect as a viewer. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. Like, I'll be honest, I think this is probably going to be one of the worst movies that are coming out this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Razzie Awards decided to show up and nominate you for Worst Picture of the Year. Thank you. Now let's talk about the good things. I really like the camera direction, actually, surprisingly enough. I thought it was really solid. So let's talk about the first 10 minutes because I think the whole direction, the whole camera stuff is really important. Like, I love the whole scope scene in that first 10 minutes of that movie. It was so intense. I almost jumped like 4 times in that 10 minutes because I thought Wolfman was going to just show up at some point in time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. It sucks that the movie didn't feel this way, but at least I got to witness 10 minutes of that chaos. I also love just the whole quick movement of Wolfman. Really beautiful touch. It really kind of heightened my senses as a viewer, and it was gripping. It was really gripping, and I love the father and the son dynamic. Like, yeah, it was a little cheesy, but like, it felt scary. It felt tense. It felt like there was stakes out there. I love the way the camera was panning in the transformations. Like, when he tilts to one side, we tilt to one side. It's a really nice Dutch angle. I think a lot of body horror kind of fails to do that. And that's just based off of the body horror stuff I see, because it's usually not my choice of genre. But I thought it kind of raised the stakes a little bit. Not even a little bit, actually quite a bit, to be honest. Even during like slow burning of like him slowly becoming Wolfman, it was utilized in a way that really made things seem more intense than what they were at that moment. Actually, one more note. The lighting in this movie in terms of shadows was really cool. I loved the idea that Wolfman could be in every possible frame of this movie. It just had that feel to it. And there were a couple scenes in the dark where you could see a silhouette of Wolfman. Yeah, so if you do go see this movie, keep an eye on that. Actually, it was a really cool touch. It's like a Flanagan touch to it, so I like that part of it. But unfortunately, I give this movie 2 out of 5 stars for being completely and utterly just a soulless carbon copy of the werewolf genre. I do think this is an entry-level horror thing, and I think a lot of young people, younger than me, are gonna go see this and think it's the most scary thing in the world. That's okay. We all had that moment when we go see scary movies, right? That we see something super cheesy like Goosebumps and we think it's the most terrifying thing in the world. So I think that's what Wolfman is really catering to, even though it has an R rating. My biggest gripe is this is an R-rated film that felt completely PG-13. Like, it just did not feel R at all. I'm not talking about like language or just in general the vulgarity of the film in terms of like the action sequences and whatnot. But there was like no gore in the movie, and it's a body horror film, and it fails to meet that expectation at all. So I would feel comfortable if I had a kid today. If I show my 13-year-old this that wanted to see Wolfman, I would be like, okay, yeah, let's go watch it. This movie is a Blumhouse movie, and you should expect it for what it is. I'm saying it is one of the worst movies this year, and I expect Razzies to nominate this movie.